All right, so today I want to share my initial thoughts on using Film Convert versus just grading something from scratch. And also, as an added bonus, I'm going to show you how I got 6 different looks in about 10 minutes or less. So let's get to it. All right, so today we are in DaVinci Resolve 18 and we're using the Film Convert plugin. And I really wanted to make a video on this because I've been using it over the summer. I've really been enjoying color grading with this plugin, especially if you're somebody that doesn't like grading stuff from scratch and you want just a good base or a good starting point. I think this plugin is really a great option for you. And I would just like to share just my process and how I use it and some things that I just genuinely really love about the plugin. And I will preface that this is not an advertisement video. They didn't send me this to do a video on it. I paid for this with my own money, and I really do enjoy the plugin. So let's dive into it here. So I have a shot from a style sheet that I did a while back, and I figured this would be a really good clip to just show off what this plugin can do and how you can achieve a lot of different looks in a quick amount of time to just experiment and just have fun with it. Because sometimes I think we get too caught up in, you know, the image is supposed to look a certain way, which I think there definitely are some do's and don'ts, if I could talk some do's and don'ts. But for the most part, I mean, you just have fun with it, right? So we're gonna have our standard node structure here. So we're gonna have first node noise reduction. Second node, we're going to have our primaries. Third, HSL, so just hue, saturation, luminance. We're going to have our adjustment node here. Then apply a look. So if we want to apply any sort of like color grading over the top of the actual film stock we're going to use, we'll do it then. Sharpness, and then our LUT, which in this case is Film Convert. So at the top here, we have our camera profile. Blackmagic design, 6K, Film Gen 5. Y'all already know I freaking love this camera. And personally, one of my favorite film stocks to use right now is this Kodak 5207. I just love this film stock, at least for currently some of the weddings that I've been doing. So that's the film stock that I use currently. And then you have what's really cool about this plugin is that it's converting the footage from Cineon into the film. So this is where, as you can see here, you can control the strength of the conversion. So I usually like to park it right about 85 to start. I usually always like starting with less contrast because I can always add more and it's visually easy to see that. So here we're already at, as you can see, a great starting place with this film stock. And I think in this case, I am going to bump it up just a little bit here to start. So that's the first thing that I'm going to look for as far as on this clip. So I apply this node structure and then go into Cineon and convert here. Okay. Next step is we're going to go and adjust our exposure just a smidge. And what I love about a lot of these tools that are within this plugin, which I think is very important to point out, is that these are essentially native controls or behave like to the program. So it's almost like you're adjusting the exposure in the HDR tool rather than the actual primaries, which I think is really nice. So we're going to lift up the exposure here. And then after this, it's in a pretty good spot. And then from here, I'm actually going to go into my primaries and we're going to start making our adjustments here. So I'm looking down at my scopes at the bottom and we're going to just bring the shadows down just a little bit and lift this up. And it's pretty much spot on where it is right there. And here you can see that for the scopes, there is like a little bit of clipping here because of the window. But personally, I just don't want to bring all of this down and then bring the exposure back up in the shadows to savor skin, because then you're not going to get, personally, I think, as clean of an image. So we're going to leave it right there. And then HSL, this is pretty standard stuff. I just kind of take out some of the yellow twinge. It's just kind of just personal preference for me. And that's really all I think that we're going to do in this node. I like how it just makes everything look. And then in the adjustment node, I take out a lot of the red is usually pretty strong. And a little trick here, we can even pull up like the RGB values, and you can see even before we apply it and then after. It's just in a much better spot, especially with the scopes as well. So then from here, all I'm going to do in the look node is just maybe we'll apply, you know, I could go into the offset and just do a global adjustment and just push it more towards like, give it kind of more of like a yellowish brown tint to it. And you can just see before we do that and after, and it gives it kind of more of that filmic vibe back. Very subtle, but I think it looks nice. And we'll just leave it right there. So this is, you can see before, here, I'll zoom this in here, and then after, and I mean, you can see here, I mean, we got that look, and I mean, it seemed like 60 seconds if I wasn't explaining like each step. So let's go to our second look here. So let's just use this as our new base. So we're going to click here, and now we're going to go back to, and this is one of the biggest things that I love about Film Convert is just the ability to play and just have fun with it. So let's go down to Fuji Eterna, and look at that. Just like in one click, it already gives us like a completely different vibe, but it still looks like really cool. So we're gonna make just some adjustments here because I feel like it's still it's a little flat. So I'm actually gonna boost up the conversion here in the Cineon to print film, and then I'm gonna go back to our primaries, and I'm gonna just bring, I'm just gonna bring this down maybe just a little bit, or maybe I'll reset it here. So we'll bring the midtones down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That's more what I want. And then bring this up, and it just gives it more of that soft filmic look. And for this one, we could even keep the look node the same, because here, before it's applied, it's more or less like a clean image, and then we add kind of this yellowish tint to it, and I think that looks great. And then you can see here, so if we compare both of these, and by the way, I just press, I have it hotkey to A. A lot of people wonder how to do this. I use this tool all the time. It's this little button right here where you can split screen and then compare clips, which is a really good way to shot match your images, or a good technique, so you can see. But here we're not shot matching, we're just seeing like the different looks. So you can see here, I mean, two different looks, but they look great, like in their own sort of way. That's what I love about this plugin here. So let's go over to our next clip here. Let's do it again. So we're gonna go down, and let's do like Fuji, the AST here. So this is clearly a very different look. So right away, I know that I'm going to, it's still a little bit too flat for my liking. So I'm gonna boost this all the way up. And then again, we're gonna go to our primaries. And I feel like this personally maybe needs like a little bit more color. So I'm gonna go down to my saturation here. I'm just gonna boost this up here, probably to about 85. And then I'm gonna bring, let's see, I'm gonna reset the primaries here, and then we're gonna bring our gamma down a little bit, and then our lift up a little bit, and I think that looks pretty darn good right there. And we'll turn this off. And then with our look node, I think I feel like it's too much personally, so I'm just gonna reset this. And I like how it looks as is, but let's experiment a little bit. So we bring the gain, maybe push it a little bit more towards the magenta, and the gamma will kind of give it more of like a yellow look here. And then in the lift, maybe we make it just really clean, like we go down towards the blues in the lift area, and then the saturation maybe I want to boost up just a little bit more. I feel like I just really want the pop of color there, right? So, and that looks great. I mean, that looks cool. So that's before and then after, very subtle. I think it looks cool. And then let's go to another here. So this is, let's do this one. If I were to grade this essentially from scratch without the plugin, and let's just use the Blackmagic Raw Gen 5. So I'm going to go over here from past tutorials that you've seen. You know, I love using my power grades. So we're going to go here and we're going to apply our base. And let me bring this over here. Here, I'm going to move these here because there we go. So y'all can see what's going on. So we'll turn the glow duct on here, and you can see here from our CST, or our color space transform, Blackmagic Gen 4, Gen 5, input gamma, and then we're gonna do the wide gamut, and then just output gamma is just 2.4. So pretty standard stuff there. If you're wondering about why to use CST, there's plenty of tutorials on that online, but that's pretty standard stuff right there. So we're gonna go, and again, this is the same node structure that's followed with the Film Convert plugin. It's just we're grading from the Blackmagic. So we're gonna go to our primaries here, and we're going to, it already looks great to start, but here we're gonna apply a little bit more contrast to give it a little bit more pop, and then we're gonna adjust our pivot here. And I think that's in a really good spot. And then from here, I'm just gonna adjust my lift and gamma. I'm not gonna touch my gain because it's perfect right where it's at, especially if you wanna keep the skin tones looking the way they are. And I think that's honestly in a really good spot. And as far as adjustments, let's see here. So we're gonna go in our gain. I wanna cool things off a little bit. And then in the gamma, I feel like we really need to kind of warm things up. And again, this is, like I'm sure many of you know, color grading, just a dance, just kind of going back and forth, playing with it a little bit. And then I'm gonna add a little bit more saturation here, maybe not quite that much, but I think that's in a good spot. And then we'll move to our look node, and same thing. I might go offset and push it more towards the yellow just to kind of see what I'm getting. And what's cool, hopefully this helps, because I'm essentially grading this in real time. Like, this isn't kind of a canned like grading session, I guess. I'm just kind of experimenting and showing you how I would look at it in real time as I'm grading it. So hopefully it helps you all as well. So we'll park it right there. I think that is great. And then let's go back here. So let's compare just these four right here. So we have Blackmagic here in the, like, if you were not to use the plugin right out of camera, this is what it would look like. And then here are three very distinct looks. They're all subtly different in their own ways, but they all look great. And that's what I love. Like, it's so much fun just to experiment with this plugin. So let's show you a couple more here. So let's go back to the actual plugin. What are we gonna do here? We're gonna go back and we're gonna go to our film stock, and let's try the Velv. I really like. Velv is fun. This is probably actually my second favorite film stock, I feel like. So this is already in a good spot. I mean, look at before and after. Like, it just, like the tones and the skin, I mean, it just looks great. So we're gonna go into the primaries again, and I'm just gonna reset this node. So we're gonna start fresh as far as the exposure is concerned. And we're gonna bring our lift, actually we're gonna bring, our gamma down. And we're gonna keep bringing it down. That's the only thing I'm adjusting so far. And we'll bring our lift down a little bit, and maybe we'll bring I want like a little bit more pop. So we're gonna bring up the gain just a little bit, and let's just leave that right there. HSL we're not gonna touch. Adjustment node, all that's doing is just removing just some of the red in the image. So as you can see here, before and after, like, it just cleans that up a little bit. And then our look node, I like it. I just leave it like right there. I think that looks great. And then let's do our last one, the tried and true, the Kodak Portra 400, which is a one here. And so let's see, bring it here. Let's park it hero frame right there. And let's go down here. We're going to go to KD Portra 400 and boom, it's right there. So using this film size is a really good example of, okay, this is probably a little bit too punchy to start. What am I going to do first? So first, I'm going to go to my primaries. I'm just going to reset these so I know that there's no adjustment going on there, and that's already kind of flattened things up a little bit, right? So then I'm going to go back to the Film Convert plugin, and I need to adjust the contrast to make this a little bit softer. So the first thing I always like to do is bring this down to start. So it was at 100, and I'm gonna put it probably about 85 is a good spot. I think that looks great right there. Exposure, I'm gonna leave the same. Everything else, I'm gonna leave there. So now we're gonna go back to the primaries, and maybe I'm gonna just do a little bit more adjustment here. And I mean, that's pretty much, that's all I really wanna do there. And let's see what the look node, I'm going to turn that on and off, and we'll just leave that there. I think that looks great. And like, hopefully this shows you like how quick you can get all of these different looks and just making these very minor adjustments from literally a log image. Like, that's what's so awesome about this plugin. So let's just take this. So we'll compare 4 different looks from Film Convert, as you can see here, and all these, like, they're different in their own way, but they all look great. So that's how I would essentially have been using Film Convert. I plan on releasing some more YouTube videos here coming up on this plugin, some things to look out for, some of the things I really like about it, and how I've incorporated it into my wedding workflow. So really appreciate y'all watching, and there's definitely more coming soon. So we'll catch you on the next one.